10 keys to make people think about you constantly. Wisdom for life. Stoicism. Have you ever wondered why some people just can't seem to stop thinking about someone? Imagine having the ability to occupy someone's mind, making them think of you constantly. Sounds powerful, doesn't it? In today's video, we're diving into 10 key principles that will make you that unforgettable person. But these aren't just tricks. They're rooted in both ancient Stoic wisdom and modern psychological insights. From mastering emotional control to the art of unpredictability, these strategies are a blend of timeless philosophy and cutting-edge science that you can start applying today. Get ready to discover how you can use these Stoic teachings to make a lasting impact on anyone's mind. Are you ready to unlock the true power of influence? Before we begin, I've got a challenge for you. Stick around till the end, because one of these 10 keys might just be the game changer you've been searching for. And if you find value in this video, don't forget to subscribe to Stoic in Your Life and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Ready to transform your life? Let's dive in. 1. Keep the mystery. The power of mystery lies not in chaos, but in controlled unpredictability. At times, life can feel repetitive. Work, routines, and predictable outcomes become the norm. Yet to captivate others and reignite passion in your own existence, consider the strategic use of surprise. This idea mirrors the timeless wisdom of modern Stoicism, reminding us that life, though rooted in control, must also leave space for spontaneity and mystery. As Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Similarly, when we introduce unpredictability into our lives, we engage people's minds in ways that leave lasting impressions. Think of unpredictability as a Stoic secret, a tool to challenge expectations without becoming reckless. The idea of maintaining mystery in personal relationships or even in the workplace. You don't reveal everything at once. Whether it's a business strategy or a romantic gesture, keeping some thoughts and plans close to your chest naturally draws attention. Why? Because people are wired to be curious. In a way, it's like a psychological puzzle. When you withhold certain pieces of information, others will focus on what's missing, trying to figure you out. As modern studies in psychology show, when rewards or attention are given unpredictably, people experience a surge in dopamine, making them more attentive and engaged. Just as a captivating novel or TV show hooks you with unexpected twists, your unpredictability in real life can have a similar effect. This is how an iron mind can harness Stoic principles to be both balanced and intriguing. Consider a famous TV series where the plot twists are what keep you watching. It's not necessarily the characters themselves, but rather the unexpected moments that make you want to know more. Life works in the same way. When you maintain an element of mystery, be it in your personal habits, your decisions, or even the small details of daily life, you become someone worth focusing on. Now imagine using this in your everyday life. Not in a manipulative way, but as a means of sparking curiosity and interest. A well-placed moment of unpredictability can be enough to capture someone's attention. Whether it's arriving at a meeting with a novel idea that no one anticipated or simply taking a different approach in a conversation. Remember, unpredictability must be handled with care. It's not about creating chaos, but rather about stirring a controlled level of curiosity. Too much unpredictability can come off as erratic, while too little leaves no lasting impact. The right balance is key. Just as Marcus Aurelius said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. We have to stand ready and unshaken no matter what comes our way." This speaks to the Stoic balance of being prepared for anything, but still allowing life to surprise you and those around you. When you introduce unexpected moments into your life, you aren't abandoning control. You're simply demonstrating a mastery over how you choose to reveal your next move. These minor shifts keep your mind flexible and ready for bigger moments of unpredictability when they arise. Moreover, surprise others with thoughtful gestures. Maybe it's as simple as sending a friend an unexpected text of appreciation or showing up with a small gift for a loved one without any special occasion. These little acts break the monotony of expectation and add excitement to both your life and theirs. You aren't doing this to manipulate, but rather to remind them and yourself that life is rich with possibilities. Keep in mind that mystery is not just about being unpredictable, but also about being intentional in what you choose to share and when. For instance, in professional settings, it's wise to refrain from immediately disclosing all your ideas. Hold back a little. Let others anticipate your input. Not only does this build intrigue, but it also gives you more control over the narrative. As the Roman philosopher Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By managing how much of yourself or your plans you reveal, you are, in essence, taking control of how people perceive you. But this doesn't mean you should live in extremes. As we explore the principles of modern Stoicism, it's essential to apply this strategy of unpredictability without losing sight of stability. Think of unpredictability as seasoning in a dish. Used in moderation, it enhances the experience. Used excessively, it becomes overwhelming. For instance, consider how unpredictability might play out in your family life. A sudden spontaneous weekend getaway, unplanned yet thoughtful, could reignite a sense of adventure. On the other hand, an unpredictable work ethic that leaves your family unsure of your availability might create unnecessary tension. The Stoic secret here is that unpredictability, when used wisely, gives you an edge. It keeps life vibrant and makes others want to invest in you. By embracing controlled unpredictability, you can become someone who leaves a lasting impact on those around you. As people grow accustomed to certain patterns, breaking those expectations subtly allows you to stand out. The next time you feel like life has become too predictable, or you aren't standing out in your personal or professional relationships, consider how you can introduce an element of surprise. But always, as Stoics would advise, act with intention and purpose. As you move forward, practice this in small steps. Embrace change. Keep certain thoughts and plans to yourself, and allow others to wonder. As the philosopher Heraclitus said, the only constant in life is change. You can harness that idea of change to remain intriguing and relevant to those around you. The power of an iron mind lies in balancing stability with unpredictability. And in doing so, you will not only capture attention but also reignite the spark in your own life. 2. Make yourself indispensable. Relationships, like life itself, are full of intricate emotions, unspoken fears, and silent desires. If your goal is to become indispensable to someone, it's not just about knowing their favorite things or being around all the time. It's about truly understanding them on a deeper level. This approach echoes Stoic rules. One must strive to master self-awareness and attentiveness, not to manipulate, but to connect meaningfully. Marcus Aurelius himself once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In the same way, to become indispensable to someone, you must learn to blend into their emotional landscape, becoming the support system they never realized they needed. These deeper layers of understanding are what will set you apart from everyone else. It's about listening between the lines, reading the unspoken feelings that surface only when someone feels truly safe. Think of this process as walking through a labyrinth where every emotion and every fear she reveals is a clue, guiding you closer to becoming that pillar of support in her life. When you sense vulnerability, instead of just offering comforting words, demonstrate that you understand her emotions on a profound level. By saying something like, "I can see that this situation is weighing on you, and it's completely natural to feel that way. I'm here with you through it." You establish a bond rooted in empathy and trust. Stanford University's research highlights that those who feel understood in their relationships develop a healthier, more secure attachment. This is not about playing games or manipulating emotions. Quite the opposite. It's about showing up consistently and authentically, making sure she knows that her well-being matters to you deeply. In doing so, You embody the Stoic principles of courage and empathy, not only being present but also being strong and reliable, much like the Stoics faced their own internal battles with calm resilience. In moments of storm, you should be her rock, the person she knows she can lean on without question. But being indispensable doesn't mean smothering her with your presence. It's about striking a balance where you become as essential and invisible as the air she breathes. Picture it like this. If her life were a movie, you wouldn't be a fleeting secondary character. Instead, you'd be the constant thread that connects every moment, the presence that gives meaning to all the highs and lows. To achieve this, it's crucial to be consistent. Show up not just when it's convenient, but when it matters. Don't underestimate the significance of small acts. A simple good morning text, a note of encouragement during a tough day, or letting her know that she's on your mind during an ordinary afternoon. These seemingly insignificant gestures are the bricks that build a strong foundation of trust and connection. Over time, these small actions accumulate, solidifying your role in her life. But here's the key. Being indispensable is not about doing one grand gesture and expecting immediate results. It's about being the person who's there, time and again, with patience and perseverance. This journey, much like the Stoics would tell you, isn't a sprint. It's a marathon of endurance. You have to embrace the virtue of patience. As Marcus Aurelius taught, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy, meaning that success, even in relationships, isn't about winning quickly or outdoing someone else. It's about doing what is right, steadily and consistently. In practice, this means listening without judgment, offering support without expectation, and standing firm when things get difficult. Over time, your presence will become something she not only appreciates, but genuinely relies on. And eventually, you won't just be necessary, you'll be indispensable, not because you demand to be, but because you truly are. Think of a relationship as a dance where the right balance of give and take keeps things flowing smoothly. You don't need to lead every step, but you do need to ensure that your presence makes every step she takes more secure, more confident. 3. Absence. Now let's move on to the third key, the power of absence. Have you ever felt like you're constantly giving your best, showing up for everyone, yet it feels like you're fading into the background, unnoticed? You might be pouring so much of yourself into relationships or work that your presence starts to lose its impact. Perhaps it's time to consider a different strategy, one rooted in the wisdom of the Stoics, the art of absence. This is where true value lies, not in how often you show up, but in how intentionally you choose to step back. Imagine for a moment that you're an artist painting a masterpiece. Instead of covering every inch of the canvas, you leave intentional blank spaces. These gaps don't diminish the painting, in fact, they add intrigue and depth. That's precisely how absence works. By making yourself less available, you increase your perceived value. When you're always around, people may start to take your presence for granted. It's human nature. Just like a book you've read too many times, familiarity can dull the excitement, and the once thrilling plot no longer surprises you. But when you create moments of absence, it gives others the chance to appreciate your presence in ways they hadn't before. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, understood this concept well. They taught us the importance of moderation and recognizing that too much of anything, even ourselves, can lead to indifference. By pulling back, you give people the space to miss you, to wonder where you are and why you're not constantly available. This absence plants a seed of curiosity and appreciation in their minds, which makes your eventual return far more impactful. Think of this strategy like a fine wine that needs to breathe before it can be fully enjoyed. Sometimes, you need to give people a break from your constant presence to allow them to savor it when you return. This isn't about disappearing forever or playing mind games. It's about creating intentional space. You are like the rare comet Halley, only visible once every 76 years. When it appears, people flock to see it because its rarity makes it special. Similarly, By not always being immediately available, you create a sense of scarcity, which naturally increases your value in the eyes of others. The next time you're tempted to reply instantly to every message or always be available at a moment's notice, resist the urge. Step back. Give others the gift of missing you. Absence is like a pause in a beautiful symphony. It makes the notes that follow even sweeter. When you strategically withdraw from certain situations or conversations, you allow others to reflect on what they value about you. You become not just background noise, but the main melody that lingers in their minds. Studies in psychology, such as those by American psychologist John Smith, show that 68% of people tend to appreciate those who aren't constantly accessible. This is called the scarcity effect, where the less available something is, the more people desire it. Think about your own life, your relationships, your work, even your social circles. How often does constant availability lead to overexposure? How many times has your eagerness been met with indifference simply because you were always there? Now imagine how stepping back could shift that dynamic. By strategically pulling away, you create emotional space, and in that space, others begin to reflect on your importance. When you reappear, you do so with renewed significance, like a fresh breeze that sweeps in after a stifling heat. Absence isn't about vanishing altogether. It's about knowing when to step out and when to come back. This approach is powerful because it's not about manipulating others, but about allowing time for appreciation to build. Relationships are like a delicate dance of presence and absence. Overexposure can dull the spark, while the right amount of absence reignites it. Think of it as recalibrating the balance between giving and withholding. Just as the Stoic principles teach us to find harmony in all things, the same goes for your presence in people's lives. You are not withdrawing to be cold or distant, but to give others the chance to see your worth clearly, without it being clouded by constant availability. Even in professional settings, pulling back occasionally can make a difference. If you're always the one offering solutions, running meetings, or being the first to respond, your contributions might start to blend into the background. But when you take a step back, attend fewer meetings or let others handle tasks for a while, you'll notice that your absence makes others realize the value you bring. You become the rare resource that people appreciate and miss when it's not constantly accessible. To implement this in your life, think about how you can create moments of absence that will benefit you. It doesn't mean ignoring people or abandoning your responsibilities. It's about being strategic. Maybe it's as simple as not replying immediately to every text or taking a step back from certain social gatherings to allow your presence to be truly appreciated when you do return. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Use your time wisely, and sometimes using it wisely means not being everywhere at once. Absence can also apply to self-care. By stepping back from others, you give yourself the time to reflect, grow, and focus on your personal well-being. This in turn makes you a better person to those around you. You return with more clarity, energy, and purpose. And when people see that you've taken time for yourself, they'll admire the balance you bring to life. They'll realize that your absence wasn't just for them, but for your own growth and peace of mind, which ties directly into the wisdom of modern Stoicism. In the end, the lesson here is simple. Sometimes the most powerful way to make people think about you is to give them space to do so. By mastering the art of absence, you create a vacuum that only you can fill, making your presence not just desired, but essential. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." So, choose carefully how and when you color the thoughts of those around you. When you step back with purpose, your presence will be felt more deeply than ever before, and the people in your life will begin to truly value you for who you are, not just for how often you're around. 4. Composure. Next, have you ever felt like your emotions are getting the better of you, especially in front of someone you care about deeply? It's as if your heart decides to put on a show at exactly the wrong moment, right? Today we're diving into the importance of emotional control. a key principle in Stoicism that helps you maintain composure and, in doing so, hold on to your dignity and self-respect. Consider this scenario. You're in an important work meeting, and suddenly the person who always makes you feel off balance enters the room. Your heart races, your voice trembles, and your thoughts become scattered. Sound familiar? What if I told you there's a way to stay in control, to avoid letting your emotions give you away? Stoic wisdom offers us a timeless strategy for situations like these. Emotional control isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. On the contrary, it's about recognizing your emotions, accepting them, and then deciding how to respond. Think of it as being the captain of a ship in the middle of a storm. You can't stop the storm, but you can control how you steer your ship to avoid crashing. This is the essence of Stoicism. Accept what you cannot control and focus your energy on what you can. Lisa Feldman Barrett, an American psychologist, found in her research that people who practice emotional regulation are 30% less likely to experience chronic stress. The ability to manage your emotions not only improves your mental and physical health, but also strengthens your relationships with others. When you learn to keep your composure, especially during stressful or emotional situations, you become someone others admire and respect. After all, who isn't drawn to a person who remains calm and collected when the world seems to be spinning out of control? Let's look at this practically. Emotional control doesn't mean becoming an emotionless robot. Rather, it's about learning to guide your feelings so they work for you, not against you. You're still human, with all the emotional ups and downs that come with it, but you no longer let those feelings dictate your actions. Imagine walking into a tense conversation with your significant other or boss. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a moment to breathe, acknowledge how you're feeling, and then respond with calmness and clarity. You'll be surprised by how much this small shift can change the entire outcome of the interaction. This approach not only makes you appear more composed and self-assured, but also piques the interest of those around you. People are often intrigued by someone who keeps their cool and doesn't reveal all their emotions. There's a certain mystery that becomes attractive. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely noted, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This powerful message teaches us that while we can't always control the events around us, we have full control over how we respond. Whether it's dealing with frustration at work, disappointment in a relationship, or unexpected news, the ability to maintain your composure is key to staying in control of your life. Think of this skill as a muscle that needs constant training. It won't be perfect at first, but with patience and practice, you'll develop the emotional resilience to handle life's challenges with grace. Take, for example, a situation many men between the ages of 40 and 70 may face: a long-term marriage or partnership that goes through inevitable moments of stress. Imagine a heated disagreement with your spouse. Your initial reaction might be anger, frustration, or even the temptation to say something hurtful. But if you pause, take a deep breath, and remember your goal of emotional composure, you can guide the conversation in a healthier direction. You're not just reacting, you're thoughtfully responding. This doesn't mean ignoring your emotions, but rather using them wisely. Over time, your partner will recognize and appreciate your ability to remain grounded, even in tense situations, strengthening the relationship overall. And here's the thing: the emotional balance you practice isn't just for others to see, it's for you. It gives you peace of mind. By learning to control your responses, you reduce your own stress and increase your self-confidence. When you know that you're capable of handling emotional situations without losing control, you walk through life with a different energy. People pick up on that, and it's incredibly attractive. In fact, studies show that individuals who display emotional intelligence and control are often viewed as more competent and trustworthy by their peers. This is a concept that's as relevant in the workplace as it is in personal life. Let's say you're leading a team at work, and things aren't going as planned. Your project is behind schedule, your team is frustrated, and you're feeling the pressure. You could let your emotions take over, raising your voice in frustration or showing visible signs of stress. But instead you choose composure. You acknowledge the stress, calmly assess the situation, and offer clear, thoughtful guidance. In that moment, your team sees you not just as their boss, but as a leader, someone who can navigate tough times without crumbling under the pressure. This is the power of composure, a stoic secret that can transform not just how others perceive you, but how you perceive yourself. As we grow older, the importance of emotional regulation becomes even more pronounced. Whether dealing with the complexities of aging parents, children leaving the nest, or shifting careers, the ability to stay composed can make all the difference. You become someone others look to for advice, support, and leadership because they trust your ability to handle life's ups and downs without losing your cool. This kind of inner calm, rooted in the principles of Stoicism, is a gift not just to those around you but to yourself. So, whether in the heat of an argument or the stress of a busy day, take a moment to pause. Breathe deeply, observe how you feel, and remember that you are in control. As Epictetus said, uncontrolled emotions are like a flooded river. When channeled, they can take you far. Will you let your emotions overwhelm you, or will you steer them in the right direction? It's a choice we make every day, and with practice it becomes easier. Take control and see how your composure draws people in, makes you a stronger leader, and ultimately helps you become the captain of your own ship, even in life's most turbulent storms. If you've ever experienced the power of patience in your relationships, or have a personal story about letting things flow, share it in the comments below. Simply type, "Patience is key," if you agree that patience has played a role in your life. Let's hear from you. 5. Self-confidence. Have you ever noticed how confident people seem to have a magnetic pull? I'm not talking about the kind of arrogant confidence that makes people roll their eyes, but a genuine self-assurance that feels as natural as breathing and irresistibly attractive. The key to becoming one of those people isn't just about believing you're the best. It's about preventing jealousy from becoming your worst enemy. Today we'll explore how confidence, without letting jealousy poison your mind, can be your greatest ally in projecting true security, even when facing competition. Jealousy is like a slow-acting poison that seeps into your thoughts, slowly eating away at your self-esteem. Let's say you meet someone you're interested in, and everything's going smoothly until someone else catches their attention. That's when jealousy starts whispering in your ear. What if they like that other person more? What if I'm not enough? Those thoughts don't just fill you with insecurity, they also radiate neediness and desperation, qualities that are far from attractive. So how can you keep jealousy from taking control? This is where the wisdom of Stoicism becomes invaluable. The Stoics taught us that we shouldn't worry about things we can't control. You can't control how someone else feels or prevent others from showing interest. What you can control is how you react to these situations. Picture yourself as a chess player. Instead of feeling threatened by competition, observe the moves on the board calmly and strategically. Don't rush your actions or force the game. Trust in your own value and what you bring to the table. This self-confidence, the kind that shows in your words and body language, is your greatest strategy. Shift your perspective. Rather than seeing competition as a threat, view it as a chance to showcase your authentic self. When you remain calm and confident, you become more appealing, and people sense that you aren't easily shaken. And let me tell you, that kind of security is truly irresistible. Research from the University of Queensland found that individuals with high self-esteem are 60% more likely to be seen as attractive. Moreover, people who manage jealousy well are 40% more successful in their relationships. These findings highlight not just the importance of confidence but the powerful effect of staying composed in the face of competition. Picture yourself as a strong tree standing tall in the middle of a storm. While others bend and break under the pressure, you stand firm, deeply rooted in your sense of worth. This stability not only strengthens you, but becomes apparent to those around you. Don't underestimate the power of a confident smile and relaxed posture. When you practice self-compassion and recognize your intrinsic value, you stop comparing yourself to others. After all, in nature, each flower blooms in its own way, and one doesn't lose its beauty just because another flower blossoms nearby. Real confidence doesn't mean being better than everyone else. It means knowing that you are enough, just as you are, without needing to compare yourself to others. And let's not forget, true attraction goes far beyond physical appearance. It's the energy you project that draws people in. A person who is sure of themselves, who doesn't let jealousy dictate their behavior, is someone who exudes trustworthiness and commands respect. The next time you feel that pang of jealousy rising, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you can't control other people's actions or feelings, but you can control your own. When you project calm, unshakable confidence, you not only make yourself more attractive, but you also find that your security becomes your greatest strength. At the end of the day, the real competition isn't with others. It's with your own fears and insecurities. Epictetus once said, "True strength is shown by keeping calm in the face of adversity." So be like that strong, confident tree, steady and sure. Life's too short to waste on jealousy and comparisons. You are enough, just as you are, and when you embrace that truth, you'll see how naturally people are drawn to your calm confidence. Now, before we move on to the sixth key, if you're enjoying this content and want more insights into how to improve your life through Stoicism, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and click the notification bell so you'll never miss out on the valuable content we have coming your way. Stay confident, and I'll see you in the next lesson. 6. Focus on yourself. Let's continue with the sixth key. Focus on yourself. Have you ever felt like your ambitions and priorities slip through your fingers like smoke? It's a common feeling, especially in today's world where distractions are everywhere and external expectations constantly press us from all sides. It's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. You. Yes, you heard that right. You are your own greatest prize. Let me explain why this is so important. First, think about your personal goals and dreams. How many times have you put them aside to meet the expectations of others? It's as if you're sailing a ship, but instead of navigating toward your own horizon, you keep glancing at someone else's shore. This habit slowly erodes your sense of purpose and fulfillment. Your goals and dreams aren't just whims. They're the essence of who you are and who you're striving to become. Each goal you set for yourself is like a piece of a puzzle that, when put together, forms the complete picture of your life. And if you don't place those pieces, no one else will do it for you. An unfinished puzzle only reflects a shadow of what it could have been, much like a life lived for others instead of for yourself. Here's where Stoic principles come into play. The Stoics teach us to focus on what's within our control and to let go of what isn't. Applied to your goals, this philosophy helps you understand that you are the only person responsible for your happiness and success. It's not up to anyone else to make you feel fulfilled. Depending on others for validation is like using a paper umbrella in a storm. It won't protect you from the harsh realities of life. Only you can build the kind of solid foundation needed to weather adversity. Your commitment to your goals is what gives you value, not external recognition or empty praise from those around you. Think of your journey as running a marathon. You don't run so that people cheer for you at every mile marker. You run to cross the finish line, to push past your own limits, and to prove to yourself what you're capable of. Each small victory along the way strengthens your character and brings you closer to the best version of yourself. And trust me, that inner satisfaction you feel from achieving something meaningful is far more rewarding than the fleeting approval of others. In fact, a recent psychological study found that people who focus on their own ambitions and dreams are perceived as 40% more attractive by those around them. This is because confidence and determination radiate from such individuals, making them irresistibly magnetic to others. This is something you've probably observed in your own life. People who are deeply committed to their goals tend to draw attention not because they're asking for it, but because their focus and passion are inspiring. To achieve this, you need to set clear priorities. Ask yourself, what truly makes me happy? This isn't about being selfish. It's about being realistic. If your happiness depends on the whims and validations of others, you'll never find lasting fulfillment. Focus on what excites you. Invest time in projects that make you come alive, and surround yourself with people who push you to be better rather than those who hold you back. Remember, it's not about isolating yourself, it's about choosing the right people and priorities that align with your vision of life. One practical tip is to visualize your goals both for the day and for the long term. Spend a few minutes each morning reflecting on what you want to accomplish that day and how it fits into your larger life goals. It's like planning a route on a map before you begin a journey. Knowing where you're headed and how you plan to get there gives you a sense of control and purpose, allowing you to navigate life with intention rather than drifting aimlessly. To conclude, being your own prize doesn't mean being so self-reliant that you shut others out. It means acknowledging your worth and not letting your happiness depend solely on external factors. You are the architect of your own destiny, and every decision you make should align with your true desires and priorities. So the next time you feel doubt creeping in, remember that your goals and dreams are valid, and your dedication to them sets you apart from the crowd. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Your mindset shapes your reality, and when you focus on what truly matters to you, you begin to build a life that reflects your deepest values and aspirations. Are you making choices that lead you closer to the life you want, or are you allowing distractions and external expectations to steer you off course? At the end of the day, it's not the achievements themselves that define success. It's how you feel about the journey and the person you become along the way. As long as you're moving toward what truly fulfills you, you're already winning. Ultimately, the real message here is that you are enough just as you are. You don't need anyone else's permission to pursue your dreams, nor do you need their approval to feel validated. The power to shape your life lies firmly in your hands. So take that control, focus on your path, and remember, you are your own prize and no one can take that away from you. 7. Has to do with body language. I'm talking about the invisible signals of interest, the ones expressed through body language. These subtle cues may seem insignificant at first glance, but they often reveal much more than words ever could. In this key, we'll explore how your own ambitions and priorities influence your ability to read these signals, which in turn impacts your success in attracting someone's attention. Before we get into the details, let's start with something fundamental: your ambitions and priorities. It's crucial to understand what you want before embarking on any romantic pursuit. Without a clear direction, it's easy to get lost in the sea of emotions. Ask yourself, what are you really looking for in a relationship? What do you expect from the person you're interested in? If you have your priorities straight, it becomes much easier to figure out if the other person shares your goals, or if you're sailing in completely different directions. Now let's focus on body language. When you're sitting across from someone special, your body and theirs are already engaged in a silent conversation. Body language is a universal language, and if you know how to read it, you can understand more than words could ever express. A psychological study from the University of California revealed that more than 55% of effective communication comes from body language, while words account for only 7%. This means that even if someone isn't saying how they feel, their body often speaks louder than their words. Picture this scenario. You're on a date, the conversation is flowing smoothly, and suddenly you notice the other person leaning slightly towards you. This small movement can be a sign of interest, or perhaps you observe that as you speak, their voice softens and becomes warmer. These are invisible cues that tell you there's more to the interaction than just casual talk. It's these subtle movements and shifts that can provide a window into what someone is really feeling. Unconscious gestures also play a critical role in reading someone's interest. A gentle touch on your arm, a smile that lights up their face effortlessly, or prolonged eye contact. These are clear indicators that there's something deeper going on than just friendly conversation. You don't have to be a Stoic philosopher to understand the power of these small gestures, but Stoic wisdom can help you cultivate the calm and attention necessary to notice them. As Epictetus wisely noted, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. In this case, you're not just listening with your ears, but with your eyes, watching for those silent cues. To master body language, you need to practice the art of observation. Here are some simple strategies to help you become more attuned to these nonverbal signals. Observe their posture. An open and relaxed posture suggests comfort and interest. If the person crosses their arms or distances themselves, it might indicate disinterest. Pay attention to eye contact. Prolonged eye contact often signifies attraction, while someone who frequently avoids your gaze might not be as interested as you hope. Notice changes in their tone of voice. A softer, more intimate tone can be a clear sign that the person feels drawn to you. Finally, watch for unconscious gestures. Playing with their hair, fidgeting with an object, or mimicking your movements are all strong signals that they're interested in more than just casual conversation. The truth is, attracting someone is about far more than just the words you say. It's about being able to read between the lines, or in this case, between the gestures. Your ambitions and priorities may guide you in deciding who you're drawn to, but body language will give you the most valuable clues about whether the feeling is mutual. When you're in a situation where you want to gauge someone's interest, take a moment to truly observe. The key lies in your ability to stay present. Notice the small gestures and remain aware of the invisible signs that speak louder than words. A slight lean forward, a soft touch, or an extended glance. These are the unspoken forms of communication that tell you so much more than verbal responses ever could. You don't need to be a seasoned Stoic to master this. However, adopting a calm, centered mindset can help you remain focused and attentive in these interactions. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you approach situations with clarity and calm, you'll be more attuned to what's happening around you. The real communication often doesn't happen in the words we speak, but in the movements we can't control. Remember, those subtle cues reveal much more than words ever can. The art of observation is your greatest tool in mastering attraction and understanding others on a deeper level. The world is filled with signals waiting to be discovered, and you're now equipped to read them with ease. As you navigate your relationships, whether romantic or otherwise, take a step back and let body language be your guide. 8. Your inner strength. If you want someone to think about you constantly, you need to understand one fundamental truth, proven time and time again by psychology. Projecting confidence and security is one of the most highly valued traits in any relationship. Now take a moment and ask yourself, how often do you seek validation from others? Maybe it's the likes on social media, the pats on the back from your colleagues, or that external approval that gives you a brief sense of satisfaction. But what if I told you that the most meaningful validation has to come from within? That's right. Strengthening your inner self is the key to a more fulfilling and balanced life. Inner strength is like a muscle. It takes time, practice, and persistence to build. The Stoics, wise philosophers from ancient Greece and Rome, understood this well. They practiced stoicism to confront life's challenges with calmness and courage. Resilience, which is closely tied to inner strength, is the ability to recover from difficulties quickly. It's not about never falling. It's about learning to rise stronger every time you do. Think of yourself as a tree standing in the midst of a storm. Life throws harsh winds and challenges your way, but your roots, your inner strength, keep you grounded. To cultivate this strength, you need to focus on self-care and invest time in activities that nourish your soul and boost your sense of self. Whether it's reading a thought-provoking book, meditating, or exercising, these small actions accumulate to form a solid foundation. But above all, learning to face your fears and not allowing them to control you is essential. Managing your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. Emotions are a natural part of being human. However, being able to handle them without becoming a puppet to your impulses is crucial. This is where reflection and mindful practice come into play. Consider yourself as a driver on a busy road. If you let every minor setback or delay make you lose your cool, the journey becomes stressful and hazardous. But if you remain calm, assess the situation and respond thoughtfully, the drive becomes far more enjoyable and smooth. In life, much like on that road, you can choose how to respond to the challenges thrown your way. Deep breathing, taking a moment before reacting when overwhelmed, and practicing mindfulness are all tools that help you stay in control of your emotions. The goal isn't to avoid feeling, but to manage your feelings in a way that serves you, not sabotages you. Seeking validation from others is like building a house on sand. While it might stand tall today, the next wave could wash it all away. On the other hand, when your validation comes from within, you are constructing your self-worth on a rock-solid foundation that no external force can shake. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy compliments or words of encouragement. Kind words from others are always appreciated, but they shouldn't be the source of your self-worth. Think of yourself as an artist who paints not for the applause of the crowd, but because the act of creating brings you joy and fulfillment. Ironically, when you stop chasing external validation, it often comes naturally because others are drawn to your quiet confidence. Research from Harvard University psychologist John Anderson supports this. His studies show that people are naturally more attracted to those who project security and authenticity, qualities that are magnetic to everyone, including potential romantic interests. Fascinating, isn't it? Take note of this and revisit these ideas whenever you need to strengthen your foundation. Your security and authenticity act like a magnet, pulling others toward you, not because of any manipulative tactic, but because it's a simple truth backed by both psychology and Stoic wisdom. And here's the best part. You are already enough. You don't need to change for anyone or meet anyone else's expectations to be valuable. Focus on working for yourself, improving for yourself, and growing for yourself. When you do that, other people's opinions will become just that, a compliment, not the foundation of your self-esteem. Strengthening your inner self, cultivating resilience, managing your emotions, and finding validation from within are critical steps toward living a more balanced and satisfying life. Like an oak tree weathering a storm, you need to grow deep roots that keep you grounded no matter what life throws at you. Don't build your self-worth on the shifting sands of external approval. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, true strength lies in knowing who you are, not in what others see. Take control of your life and build from the inside out, because at the end of the day, only you get to define your worth. So next time you face a difficult situation or feel the urge to seek approval from others, pause and remind yourself of this. The real power comes from the strength you cultivate within. That inner fortitude will not only make you more resilient, but it will also make you more attractive to those around you. Your quiet confidence will draw people in, and your authenticity will keep them engaged. In modern life, where everything is fast-paced and we're constantly bombarded by comparisons on social media, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking external validation. But remember, real strength comes from doing the hard work of focusing on your inner self, embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, and understanding that your value doesn't fluctuate based on someone else's opinion. Cultivating inner strength is a lifelong journey, but it's the most rewarding one you can embark on. Stop seeking approval outside yourself, and instead, nurture the qualities that make you uniquely you. When you do, you'll find that not only do others think about you more often, but you'll also discover a deep sense of peace that comes from knowing your worth isn't defined by the outside world. You are enough as you are, and when you truly believe that, the way you move through life will change for the better. 9. The possibility of rejection is always there. You know that feeling when you really like someone, and you start imagining that they must be thinking about you too? You create 1,000 stories in your mind, visualizing walks together, sharing dreams and laughter. But then reality hits you like a wall. You're rejected. Rejection. That stinging sensation that seems to have the power to crumble your self-esteem in seconds. But what if I told you that rejection doesn't define your worth? In fact, it can be a hidden opportunity for your personal growth, one that most people overlook because they're blinded by the temporary pain. Let's be honest. Rejection hurts. It's like getting a bucket of ice-cold water thrown at you when you least expect it. But here's the truth. Rejection doesn't have the power to determine your value. Think of rejection as a very strict teacher, one who points out where you can improve. It's not a reflection of your flaws, but a mirror that shows you areas where you can grow. When someone rejects you, it doesn't mean you're not good enough. It simply means you're being redirected toward something that could be better for you, even if it's hard to see in the moment. This is where emotional resilience, a key component of personal development, comes into play. Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus talked a lot about handling adversity with a calm and strong mind. According to Stoicism, what truly matters isn't what happens to you, but how you respond to it. So when you face rejection, instead of falling into self-pity, try to view it as an opportunity to build emotional strength. The more you face these uncomfortable moments without collapsing, the stronger your emotional resilience becomes. It's like building a muscle. Each time you handle rejection with grace, you're training yourself to be more prepared for whatever life throws at you next. Let me share an insight with you. According to a recent psychological study, people who see rejection as a chance to learn and grow are 60% more likely to develop stronger emotional resilience. The key to turning rejection into a growth opportunity is to focus on improvement and self-reflection after every experience. Think about Thomas Edison and the light bulb. He didn't succeed after just one try. In fact, he failed 1,000 times before getting it right. Each failure taught him something valuable about what didn't work. In the same way, every time you're rejected, it's teaching you something. Whether it's about how you approached a situation or whether you might need to change your focus altogether. Use rejection as a moment for reflection, to fine-tune your approach or even shift your mindset. Maybe next time, instead of diving in headfirst, you take a more measured approach. Or perhaps it's a sign that you need to invest more in your own self-esteem and confidence, so when rejection does happen, it doesn't affect you so deeply. Reframing rejection as a learning tool is an act of courage. It's deciding that you won't let a single negative experience define who you are. Instead, you'll use each rejection as a stepping stone for your personal growth. Every rejection is training you for emotional resilience, like preparing for an emotional marathon. You're becoming stronger, more capable, and better equipped to handle setbacks. This strength won't just help you deal with romantic rejection, but will carry over into all areas of life: your career, your friendships, and your personal goals. Remember, rejection is not the end. It's a chance to reassess and redirect yourself towards something better. As Epictetus once said, rejection is merely an opportunity disguised as failure. This perspective shift allows you to stop viewing rejection as something to fear and instead as a natural part of life's growth process. When you face rejection with a stoic mindset, something powerful happens. Instead of being broken by the experience, you emerge stronger, wiser, and more confident. You realize that rejection isn't a judgment on your worth, but rather a test of your ability to persevere and grow. The next time you feel the sting of rejection, take a step back and ask yourself, how can this help me become a better version of myself? Every rejection is a lesson waiting to be learned, if you choose to see it that way. Rejection doesn't mean you failed. It means you're being redirected toward a new path, one that might offer better opportunities, deeper relationships, or more meaningful experiences. Think of it as life's way of clearing the roadblocks that aren't serving you, pushing you closer to where you're truly meant to be. With this in mind, rejection loses its sting, and instead, it becomes a stepping stone toward your next success. You are not defined by the no you received. In fact, that no is often the catalyst that drives you to become stronger, more determined, and more capable. Your value doesn't fluctuate based on someone else's approval or disapproval. As you continue to strengthen your emotional resilience, remember that your inner worth is unshakable, no matter how many rejections you face. What matters is that you keep moving forward, learning from each experience, and growing into the person you're meant to be. Rejection is a part of life, but it's also a part of growth. The more you learn to embrace it, the less fear you'll have, and the more confident you'll become. Strengthen your emotional resilience, focus on self-improvement, and you'll see that each rejection only makes you stronger. In the end, it's not about avoiding rejection, it's about how you respond to it. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the very obstacles we fear often turn into the paths that lead us to where we need to go. Have you ever found that waiting and trusting the process made all the difference in a relationship? Drop a quick, "Trust the timing" in the comments if you've seen the power of patience in your life. 10. Let things flow. Now we come to key number 10, which is perhaps the most important of all the others. Let things flow. In a world where everything seems to be needed right away, patience can often feel like a forgotten art. We live in a society that prizes immediacy. Who has time to wait when we want everything yesterday? But have you ever truly considered what patience means when it comes to relationships, especially when seeking love? Patience isn't just a virtue, it's the key. Think of life as a river. You can fight against the current, exhausting yourself, or you can go with the flow and let the water carry you to where you need to be. Patience is that ability to let go of control and allow things to unfold in their own time and space. This is particularly true in love. Patience doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It's about understanding that what's meant for you will come to you. Acting impulsively can be like diving headfirst into unfamiliar waters. You might get lucky and find love, but you could just as easily end up hurt by hidden dangers you didn't see coming. Taking time to reflect before acting is essential. Get to know the person you're interested in. Understand their dreams, fears, and hopes. And in doing so, you also get to know yourself better, which is crucial for building a solid relationship. The strongest relationships don't happen overnight. They are built with time and conscious choice, not by chance. Think of love like a plant. You can't rush its growth by pulling on the leaves. It needs sunlight, water, and most importantly, time to grow deep roots. Similarly, love needs patience to grow and flourish. Stoic philosophy teaches us the value of patience and reflection in all areas of life, including love. The Stoics believe that wisdom comes from accepting things as they are and working with them, rather than forcing or fighting against them. This mindset allows you to develop the calm and patience needed for lasting connections. After all, when you let go of the need to control every outcome, you allow the right things to come into your life naturally. And you never know. When you're least expecting it, someone may be thinking about you constantly, just as you've hoped. There's a psychological aspect to this as well. Studies show that people spend about 30% of their time thinking about those who evoke strong emotions in them. So if you've left a meaningful impression on someone, chances are you're on their mind more often than you think. You might not know it now, but one day you could find yourself becoming a priority in someone's thoughts, their dreams, and their plans for the future. Genuine love doesn't need to be forced or rushed. It arrives at the right time, when both people are ready to embrace it fully. So, while you may feel the urge to rush things or push for answers, remember that the best relationships are cultivated slowly, with patience and wisdom. Love is about timing. It's about both people being ready to not only receive love, but to truly appreciate it. In modern life, we often see people rushing into relationships, driven by a fear of missing out or losing time. But remember, the strongest relationships are not born out of haste. They grow when you give them the time they need to develop naturally. You can't force someone to think about you or to fall in love with you overnight. But by being patient and allowing things to evolve organically, you increase the chances that the connection will be deeper and more meaningful. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "Patience is not simply the ability to wait, it's how we behave while we're waiting." In other words, patience isn't passive. It's an active process of maintaining a calm and positive attitude as things unfold. It's about trusting that what is meant for you will come, without forcing or rushing the process. When you develop this mindset, you create an environment where relationships can grow and thrive without unnecessary pressure or stress. So, how does this idea of letting things flow relate to you? Think about the relationships you've had or the ones you're pursuing now. Are you trying to rush things out of impatience, or are you allowing them to develop naturally? When you're patient, you also give yourself time to reflect and make sure that what you're building is truly right for you. You may find that, in the quiet moments of waiting, the right person is thinking of you, making room in their life for you without you even realizing it. At the end of the day, patience in love is about trust, trusting that if something is meant to be, it will happen. And even if it doesn't work out, you'll have gained the wisdom and resilience to move forward. The strongest relationships come from a place of mutual readiness, where both people are willing to give and receive love when the time is right. In conclusion, patience is not only a virtue, but a powerful strategy in the pursuit of love. Let things flow and trust that what is meant for you will come in due time. Love, when it is genuine, doesn't rush. It grows steadily, with patience, understanding, and wisdom. As Marcus Aurelius wisely reminded us, patience is not about how long we wait, but about how we handle ourselves while we wait. So take a step back, breathe, and let love unfold naturally, knowing that the best relationships are built over time, not in a moment. If you've made it to the end of this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the power of the mind in the comments below. Share your experiences, and let's continue the conversation. Don't forget to subscribe to Stoic in Your Life. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update, and give this video a like if you found it helpful. Also, check out the 2 recommended videos for more insights. Thank you for your time and support. I'll see you in the next adventure.